Hi, I'm Debs. Welcome or welcome back to my channel, Raina Read Stuff. I'm here in the book shack and it's Tuesday, so I'm going to do a Tag Tuesday on a Tuesday, which is good for me. This is one that I have failed to do for a long time. This is the Used Bookstore Tag, and I think it was originally created by Kelly at Books I'm Not Reading. I was tagged by Gavin at Genre Books, and I was tagged in November. This is a shameful face, but I'm going to do it now. There are 10 tags, 10 prompts even, and a tag people tag, which I'm not going to do because it's so old. So I'll say right at the beginning, if you want to do this tag, do it. It's fun. But having left it for 4 months, 3 months, I really can't count at the moment. I've got no idea now who has or who hasn't done the tag. So everyone watching, consider yourself tagged. Right, question number 1. What is your favourite or most often visited used bookstore, and what sets it apart or makes it special? I'm very lucky in Nottingham. We have 3 Oxfam bookstores. One is in the centre of the city, and the other 2 are on the outskirts of the city in 2 different places. All are extremely good. What sets it apart, what makes it special, is that I think, like all Oxfam bookshops, there is a reasonable degree of organisation in them. I'm not saying it gets it right all the time, but mostly it does. There are sections. You can find quite easily specific genres that you're looking for, and that's great. Does your used bookstore take credit? If so, how much credit do you get for your books? Do they give cash for your books? No, no, no. The Oxfam bookstores are charity ones, so they don't give credit. Like Gavin said in his video, which I've just watched again, if you take in a bag of books, they say thank you very much and cart them off to sort them out. I do sometimes get a reduction on the books. I'm the sort of person that when I go shopping in these places, my arms are so full I have to go and dump them at the till and go back for round 2 of the shop. So sometimes they'll round down the price, but it's a charity shop, so I prefer to pay full price for them. Their books aren't hugely expensive. You're talking, I don't know, about between £2 and £4 averagely. Sometimes they have speciality books that are more. Yeah. Question 3. How often do you go to your used bookstore? Can you share how much credit you have there? I have no credit there for reasons above. When it is not at the tail end of the Read What You Own challenge, I tend to go and look at the bookshop in the city centre every time I go into the city centre, which is probably a couple of times a month. My favourite one is on the outskirts of Nottingham, and it's got a little mini town centre, And there is a lovely coffee shop there that I like to frequent, which is 2 doors down from the Oxfam bookshop. And then if you walk through some little streets in a square of probably about 200 yards in each direction, you can take in 11 different charity shops in addition to the Oxfam bookshop, all of which also sell books. So that is my very favourite place locally to go secondhand book shopping. At the moment, I haven't been to a secondhand bookshop since the beginning of November, no, end of October, prior to starting the Read What You Own challenge. Number 4, what, if any, restrictions does your bookshop have on how you can use your credit? I don't know a bookshop that does credit. How is your used bookstore organised? What do you like and dislike about it? What I like about the Oxfam bookstores is they do make a pretty good effort at organising the books. There are, most of them, you go in and you're immediately hit by general fiction. And there are shelves of those alphabetised by author's surname. And then you will normally have a children's section, a YA section, a crime section, and a fantasy section for fiction. Then you have, usually, travel, biography, history, other academic subjects, an art book section. And then stuck in the corner somewhere, normally near the till, because these books are the more expensive, you have the classics section, the older antiquarian books, and poetry, plays, and literary discussion. I've never seen a horror section in these shops, and I've never seen a Western section. They don't have a specific romance section. It's not that I would be interested in that section, but they don't have one of those. And the organisation between the classics and the general literature depends very much on who you have working in the store. So I always look at both. Number 6, what is the best find or deal you got at a used bookstore? I haven't got anything that is hugely valuable, but I have got a couple of little gems. So this little box set here, "10 James Bond novels by Ian Fleming," cost me £7, I think. I was very pleased with that. Boxed sets are not something that I buy new. This is my favourite. Adventures in Moominland by Tove Jansson. And this has 8 of the Moomin books. I paid a princely £6 for this. And these books were first published in English in 1971. They were first published by Puffin, which is the children's section of Penguin, in 1974. And I have every reason to believe that this was the first boxed collection, and this was published in 1975. So these little gems that I paid £6 for are 50 years old this year. Finally, you will probably all know that the lovely Pat at Book Chat with Pat is very keen on poetry. And I had been talking to her about some American poets because I'd never heard of the poets that she was talking about mostly. And I went into the Oxfam shop near the coffee shop and I found Caribou by Charles Wright. I love that cover. 9 Horses by Billy Collins. Aimless Love by Billy Collins. I like that cover too. And then A Wild Patience Has Taken Me This Far by Adrienne Rich. And Adrienne Rich's poetry. And I found all of these in the same place in this one shop. And I was so excited. I bought them, rushed out of the shop, sat on the nearest park bench, got them all out, took a photograph of them and sent them to Pat because I'd never seen any of them in our UK bookshops before. And I was absolutely delighted. Is there something you saw at your used bookstore and now you regret not purchasing it? I'm one of those people who, if I think, oh, that looks good, I regret not purchasing it by the time I've got home. But I don't think there is anything specific that I've seen that I have regretted not buying because I don't have that much self-control. I just buy them. I've never spent a huge amount of money on a book, but that's because I don't have a huge amount of money. If I had a huge amount of money, I would not balk at spending it on a book. You know how some people buy, I don't know, expensive handbags or expensive shoes or things like that. I can't understand that. I can't understand why someone needs thousands of pounds to buy one single handbag. However, if I had the money, I would spend that amount of money on a book that I wanted if I found it. Oh, that's completely beside the point. Question number 8. Is there a book you're always on the hunt for at your used bookstore? I'm always on the hunt for things that fill in gaps of my collection. Particularly with classics, because I like to have a hard copy of them. I have got lots and lots, and by lots I mean hundreds of Delphi Classics collections where I have the complete works of one author on ebook. But if I read one and I love it, I want to have it on my bookshelf. So I'm always looking out for bits and pieces that will fill in the gaps. I buy Anthony Trollope books wherever I can find them if I haven't already got them. Elizabeth Gaskell, the Brontes. Yeah, I mean, you know the things. So yeah, if I find them and I haven't got them, I will buy them. If you could run your used bookstore for a day, what changes would you make? Well, they'd have to, the building would have to expand a bit because I think secondhand bookshops, just like large new bookshops, ought to have somewhere for you to sit and browse through the books that you've selected from the shelves, and they also need to serve coffee. So most of them, however, are in very tight spaces, and sometimes you're hard pushed to squeeze past somebody who is in the same aisle as you. So the building would have to magically grow for the day, And then I would install armchairs and a decent barista coffee machine, and maybe a barista as well, so I didn't have to make it for everybody. Number 10. If you could go used book shopping with any booktuber in any city, who would you go with and where? Pat at Book Chat with Pat. And we'd go to Dublin. She's been to Dublin. I've not been to Dublin. I've been to Ireland, but I've not been to Dublin. And we'd go used book shopping in Dublin and drink coffee and eat cake. You come in, Pat? Sounds good to me. And that's it. Like I said, I'm not going to tag people. If anyone's watching this and fancies doing this video, go for it. But Gavin, I'm so sorry it's taken me so long to get round to this. It's a great tag. But I've got no clue now who's done it and who hasn't. So if you want to, do it. Thank you very much for stopping by. I'm going to be back again tomorrow, and I'm going to talk about the March plans, and believe me, they are crazy. So if you fancy it, pop by then. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. I always appreciate you stopping by, and I will speak to you again soon. Bye for now.